And good afternoon to the freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters out there in the world today. Just wanted to hit y'all with this quick live stream to show you that governments don't give a shit about the people they rule over, including Israel's government. And no government is exempt. No government is exempt. And if they are exempt, the leaders of said government don't last long, do they? Do they? No, they do not. And even if the government leaders care about you, they care about their people, there's no way they can represent the needs and the wants of everyone they rule over. It's impossible. Now, we know what's going on in Israel. We know what's going on in Gaza. We know what is going to happen in the coming weeks, particularly on October 7th, when Israel is supposed to go into Gaza and completely take it over. Completely take it over. Now, we know also that Israel launched a strike against so-called Hamas leaders within the country of Qatar, an independent nation that is not part of Palestine, right? It's its own separate nation. But that's going to be a topic for another day. Today, I want to tell you guys about Israeli protesters that wants the government of Israel to negotiate the hostage release of their people. But we know, and they have said multiple times, including Benjamin Nosferatu, that he's not interested in negotiating these releases, right? He said that he wants to eradicate Hamas. He wants to go into Gaza, that, basically that trying to get the hostages is not going to stop him. Getting the hostages is not going to stop him from taking over Gaza, just so you guys know. Even if he got the hostages, he would still go into Gaza, right, under the auspices of getting rid of Hamas, when really it's just to take over the entire Palestinian nation, like they did with, many other parts of Gaza. And so we have to understand that the goal is not to get the hostages released. The goal is to push the Palestinian people out of Gaza and take over. They want to spread their nation. They want to expand their nation. This is the goal of the Zionist government of Israel. That is what they want. They want to spread their empire across the Middle East, right? They want, in terms of land, they already have quite a huge empire across the world, right? But it's veiled, it's undercover, it's under subterfuge, it's not out in the open right now, right? But the goal is to get to a place where they can come out in the open unopposed. And if they get their way, they will be unopposed. Right now, it's about Israel defending themselves against these other people, right? Against Hamas, defending themselves against Hamas, defending themselves against the Houthi rebels. That's what they're trying to push right now. That's the idea they're trying to push. When really, at the end of the day, it is about spreading their empire. Now, was there an attack on Israel on October 7th, 2 years ago? There was. Did they know about it? They did. They knew it was going to happen before it happened, and they allowed it to happen so that they can get what they wanted. And after that, they've committed many atrocities against the people of Palestine. People that had nothing to do with the attack. Nothing to do at all. And of course, they'll tell you, well, they're using the Palestinian, Hamas is using their people as human shields. They got these tunnels that, they use that they don't let the people use, even though Israel built some of these tunnels. All this shit about human shield this, human shield that, destroying these hospitals, destroying these places that are supposed to be a safe haven for the civilians. Oh well, we went in there, was a command post. Oh yeah, they're using these schools and these mosques and these whatnots to plan their operations. That's what they tell you. But we know they're liars. If you go listen to this guy, Benjamin Nosferatu, talking to this asshat Brandon Tatum, this is what he'll have you believe. Yeah, you know, well, yeah, we might kill those civilians. Oh, but, you know, they're using them as human shields. And at the same time telling you that no other country has gone out of their way to protect the civilian life of within enemy territory like Israel. Straight fucking lies. All this bullshit about all these tons of food that they delivered, another fucking lie. Lies. Lies on lies on lies. Lies that IDF soldiers themselves have exposed. Lies that you can look up videos and find that Benjamin Nosferatu is a fucking liar. He's a liar. And right now, there are people within his own nation, his own constituents, the civilians of his nation, that want this shit to stop. When you do something like a Nosferatu has done, the Benjamin Nosferatu I'm referring to, you create enemies all around the world. You create enemies all over the world, and you make your people targets of these individuals, of these individual nations, these other nations that look upon you like what you are, a war criminal. That is what Benjamin Nosferatu is. And he complains about the international court supposed to be sending somebody to Israel to do this, that, and the third. Well, the guy never showed up and just said this, that, and the third. Well, maybe he didn't want to go to Israel to be fed your line of bullshit, because maybe he got information that definitively pointed to the fact that you are a war criminal. Mr. 200 tons of food. Get the fuck out of here. You have not delivered nobody's 200 nothing tons of, you delivered 2 million tons of death within the nation of Palestine. That's what you've done. You've delivered death. You have not delivered food. You're starving the people out. You controlled the food supply to begin with, as well as, you know, the power supply, you know, energy supplies. This is what Israel has been doing to Palestine for a number of years. This Palestine was a nation dependent upon another nation that hated them to basically support them. Palestine was on support, and guess what? Israel is pulling the plug, y'all. They're pulling the plug, and they want you to believe this is all in self-defense. Launching strikes against other nations that have nothing to do with Hamas, although they tell you they do. And they know you'll believe it, because, I mean, how many times over a number of years has Benjamin Nosferatu told you, if Iran has a nuclear program, a successful nuclear program, they're going to start launching nukes. He's been telling y'all that for over 2 decades, right? We can't let Iran be a nuclear power. We can't let Iran do this. We can't let Iran do this and that. Iran is an independent nation. Iran is a sovereign nation. You don't have any say over what Iran can and cannot do, unless they attack you. Iran has never attacked Israel, but Israel has attacked Iran over and over again. Benjamin Nosferatu and his cabinet of warmongers have tested the resolve of the international court, tested the resolve of the leaders of the United States, whether it be Obama, Biden, you know what I'm saying, Trump. He has been pushing the envelope for a very long time, and now he's ready to implement his ultimate plan. Like a Bond villain, right? A mustache twirling Bond villain who is going to have least resistance than a Bond villain himself. No one is sending a James Bond to Israel to stop this nefarious plot. Paul Spadola tells me to shut up. All right, let me help you out. You don't never have to hear me again. You can go ahead and go on about your business. Bye-bye. Arrivederci. I'm talking nonsense. Okay, you can go bye-bye too. I'm going to start helping you guys out. Let's see. Using American weapons. Exactly, Wondery. The Turkish king Bulan was responsible for the Jews' conversion at about year 1700. Why are today's Jewish considered as the same people from the Bible or the land when they're not? That's a great question, Jan. Great question. Thomas Brooks. He's Polish, not Semite. Yeah, people don't really care about none of that. Birth pains don't stop. You're absolutely right. Benjamin Nosferatu is not his real name. It probably is not. I don't know anything about that though. Yes, he is a criminal, Thunder Brooks. Look, I don't have a problem with you guys disagreeing. Right? I don't delete or remove people for disagreeing. But when you say a little silly, stupid ass shit that doesn't make sense, I'm going to get you out of here. Like if you tell me I should shut up, then that means that you don't want to hear what I have to say. So I'm going to help your confused ass out. If you say anything like, why am I here? Please shut up. This, that, and third. All that type of silly ass stupid shit. I'm going to get you out of here because you obviously don't know what's good for yourself. If you think what I'm saying is annoying or you don't want to hear what I have to say, then there's no point in writing in the comments. There's no point in you even being here. So in order for you to stop listening to me, I'm going to boot you so that you have incentive to get out of here. Right? L. Coder says I'm still crying. You don't have to hear me cry ever again. You can get out of here too. How about that? The lights on here speaks volumes. Oh, by the way, thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Lewis. Please hit the like button. All you got to do is double tap. And antiquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Absolutely. You guys don't have to be here to listen. And it's not because you agree. Like if you told me, boy, how brainwashed you are. See, I'm not mad at Jack here, but I would like to, for saying that. Jack here, you're more than capable of telling me I'm brainwashed. I want you to help me understand where I'm brainwashed at. Paul calls me a loser. Okay. Sounds good. Caralucci says, here to spread some love. Hope your day is wonderful as you are. Remember, you matter. Thank you, Caralucci. I appreciate you. Heart slap. I like that. Thank you for that encouragement in the love. Benjamin Nosferatu's birth name is Benjamin Malakowski, but his family changed their surname. Well, that's similar to what Hitler did. Hitler was a small hat. Hitler was a Jew. Just so y'all know. He wasn't blonde hair and blue eyed like he preached people should be. Leah says, see Revelations 2:9 says that they are the Jews but are not and are the synagogues of Satan. And Revelations 3:39 says the same but adds that they lie. Makes a whole lot of sense from what they're doing right now, right? The level of influence they have and the things they're doing, man. I see you, Jan. He changed his name so that he can mimic actual Hebrews. That makes a whole lot of sense. Whole lot of sense. Thank you for that, Jesus Cristo. Read the Jew Peril 1901. I think I'll check that out. Free Palestine, absolutely. Free Palestine because coming up here soon, Palestine will no longer exist as a nation. They will no longer exist as a nation. And they have a right to exist as a nation. I don't know why, in order for Israel to exist as a nation, they have to eradicate the Palestinian nation. Why does that have to be the case? But they're not just out to eliminate the Palestinian nation. They're gonna continue to spread out from there because see, when they bombed Iran and when they bombed Qatar, they are showing you guys that it's not just about Palestine. And when they bombed Qatar and blamed the United States for it, talking about, oh yeah, they knew that we were going to do it. The United States knew it was going to happen. They're okay with it. You see what they're doing? They're going to throw their rocks, hide their hands, and hide behind Big Daddy United States. That's how they're going to get away with what they're going to get away with. And our so-called leaders of this country, of the United States, they're not going to do anything about it, which is going to expose the weakness of our leaders, right? Of course, Ace, they want a greater Israel. Salute to Tim Manto. Salute to you, brother. The Greater Israel Project. I didn't even know about that. I'm going to look that up. Hold on. I don't have my other phone. See, that's the goal. The goal is to create a much larger Israel nation, to build an empire within the Middle East, as far and wide as the world will let them, and they will have a much bigger place on the world stage to be openly in power and in control. That is the goal right now, right? BB says they will not get away with it forever. The book of Revelations be upon them. Well, they shouldn't get away with it forever. Jose says, in order to understand what's happening in the Israel-Palestine war, we must look at a historical timeline of events. None of y'all are doing that. Well, we understand historical timelines of events. They have been at war for quite a long time. And we also have to understand who the real Hebrews are. Are they even the real Hebrews? That is the question you have to ask yourself. But what Benjamin Nosferatu is doing now on behalf of his government goes beyond what you would call the historical events call for, right? Leah said that's why DNA testing is prohibited in Israel. Last names were changed from Eastern Europe. PM Mir and Babovich. Yiga Alon was Perkovich. Netanyahu was Milikowski. DNA with testing with no link. Wow, very interesting. I do know that there are quite a few Jews all over Europe and Eastern Europe, and they didn't even get to Palestine until what, the 1940s or something like that. That's when they said that they were going to go back and reclaim their nation. They never had a nation. Not the ones that they're calling themselves Hebrews. Not those individuals. Bill Pierce says, I didn't get anybody who is truly studied. The Middle East knows that both Israel and Palestine have no claim to land, just like the U.S. has no claim and Britain has no claim. Bill Pierce, I would 100% agree. I would 100% agree with that, because the land belongs to no one and belongs to everyone. If you really look at it, that's really how it should be. If you look at pre-industrial times, if you go way back in prehistory, when the humans first started to roam the earth, there was no land ownership. I agree. There were no territories. People moved about around the land, and they moved with the weather, right? Or if the weather was tropical, and they could stay put year round, they just wandered about the land and utilized the land and all that other stuff. There was a whole bunch of synergy going on. I get it. But because of the actions of governments, drawing imaginary lines on maps and saying, this is mine, we are now in the position and predicament that we are in. This is what we have to deal with today. Until we get to a place where we can go back to that. And that's not going to happen as long as these world leaders and world governments are in power as they are. When people gain their sovereignty back, their individual sovereignty and their freedom, and they break these governments up all across the world, almost in harmony, it would have to be in harmony, then we can go back to that. But for now, because we have allowed governments to take a foothold all over the world, I'm talking about the people, we as the people that don't belong to the elite class members that form these governments, that control these governments, because we have allowed the government to spread, the world governments, because we have allowed them to take such a foothold all over the place, this is the position we're in right now. And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Bill Pierce said we can trace a lot of imaginary lines to Britain. They didn't in Vietnam, and that caused the war. They did it in India and Pakistan, and that caused the war. But guess what? Most of those places, anyway. Yes, it's unchecked power. But see, all power is unchecked. When you talk about power, you're talking about something that someone should not have over anybody else. If you exercise power over another individual, you're already doing something wrong. Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That is an idiom that is 100% true. Because once someone gets that taste of power and they understand what they can do with it and the influence they have and the fact that they can control so many people with that power, they get greedy. They want more. They do more to obtain more power. Whereas with pure leadership, well, true leaders don't want power. They want to guide people. They want to uplift and bring out the leadership in everybody else so that everybody can operate independently and be on their own accord if they have to. It's about harmony, right? It should be about harmony instead of top-down rulership. Top-down rulership is why we're in the position we're in today. The government are the people. No, they are not. There are elite class people that control government that rule over all the lesser people. No, the government is not the people. Stop with the nonsense. You stop with the garbage. You make no fucking sense. How could a government that does not represent you be of you? See, that is a silly way to justify government tyranny. Hannibal, salute to you. Oh yeah, I already know that, Hannibal. They know exactly what this is. Exactly. They know. Jose says, keep the dialect going. Having a discussion is good. Appreciate what you're doing. If we disagree, good sir. Jesus is king. May God bless y'all. Take care. Salute, Jose. I appreciate I appreciate it. I like it. I like having these discussions because it's important. It's important. We don't want an echo chamber, right? We don't want an echo chamber. We want to be able to have these conversations and have these disagreements so that we can find out, okay, where exactly do we disagree? And I completely disagree with this idea that the government is the people. No, we are not. The government is not the people. It's not the people. And you have to define what the people are. Because is the government made up of people that consider themselves to be elite and rule over other people? Sure. Paul Krul says the chosen ones rule you. That exactly, Paul Krul. Yes, because you guys vote for these guys to rule over you. So you are giving your consent to be governed, and you don't even understand that. Every time you vote, yes, echo chambers are horrible. You know, I get advice from individuals that tell me that I should put it on subscribers modes and this, that. The only way I'm deleting comments, and the only way I let my moderators delete comments, and then also you have to understand my moderators are free. I consider them to be sovereign individuals. So if they might delete comments that I don't agree with them deleting for, but I can't control them. The reason they're my moderators is because they have shown that they support me. They support, and they've been here rocking with me for a long time, and we are of like mind. And I know they won't. They'll every now and then you might see them delete comments, and you guys might be like, "What the hell?" Well, I can't control them. I can't control my moderators. I can take their wrench away, but I'm not going to do that because, again, this is not my platform, y'all. I'm just using it to speak. Uh, government means govern your mental. Yeah, that is one way you can look at it. Yeah, absolutely. Some of these guys view Trump as a second coming. I know they do, and because they were fed that from people that manipulate them. You know who the second coming is? Yourself. That's what Jesus preached. Right? You are better than the government that rules over you. You are the second coming. Right? God created people in his image. Well, that means if God is coming again, what does God want you to realize? That you are the second coming. When that second coming is when you have the clarity of thought and wait a minute. These people that rule over me, that extort me, that place all these rules upon me that they don't have to follow, the rights that they violate on a daily basis, the laws that they create to further violate your rights, the more they take your money and they redistribute it to wherever they see fit, and you don't get a say. When you have that clarity of mind to understand, look, it's time to take our power and our sovereignty back. That is the second coming. And those individuals, those elite class individuals that have ruled over you and committed tyranny against you, we see that. That is when the second coming occurs. Israel unalive too. American is dying slowly. Salute to Darren and Sparkle Kyle, Mike Anderson, Andrew HJ. Salute to you guys. Jan. The guy has zero problem with Democrats violating rights. Who said that? I have a huge major problem with anybody violating anyone's rights. Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter. Libertarian. The tribal chief, Roman Reigns, he be spitting facts. Who's that? Ain't that the wrestler? Who was in favor of vaccine? You ain't talking about me. So you got to go back and look at my channel. You got to go back in time in my channel. I look like, who's Roman Reigns? I don't know who that is. Adam J. Government by necessarily has to have, isn't he a wrestler? I don't know who you mean by I don't know who you mean by you were all in favor of hokey pokey mandates, but I was absolutely not in favor of hokey pokey mandates. No, you're not invited to the party, but they'll use you. They'll use you, right? They'll use you to wield their power. They'll use you to create division, like they're doing with this, this what's the name? The guy that Charlie Kirk. See, you don't have to force division through hatred, right? If people are going to divide along color lines, culture lines, it can occur naturally. You don't have to force it through hate. Because guess what? Even though we're all human beings, we all have, there are human beings that have different culture from each other human beings. They grew up in a different area. They have a different system of beliefs. They have a different language. And people of like mind and of like thought that look alike, they're going to naturally congregate together. Segregation is natural, but it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have occurred through hatred. You don't have to attack someone of a different culture and of a different race because they're different. You can just let them mind their own business. You mind your own business. Y'all don't have to agree on shit. I stay over here, you stay over there. Adam J said, yes, he's a wrestler. I'm surprised no one ever told you. Like Roman, check out the pic. He's huge and jacked, brother. Oh, yeah, no one ever told me that. Nothing wrong with disagreeing. No, I don't have to respect anyone's authority over who. The only authority I'll respect is one's authority over themselves. Oh, yeah? Land of the Free. I got it from the High Impact Flicks website. High Impact Flicks. Brian from High Impact Flicks. I think his channel, High Impact Vlogs, is back up. I used to rock with him heavy. But then there were moments where I thought that he was pushing division as well. And I had to stop. Because I can't, because you're pushing, if you push the message of freedom and getting away from government rule and tyranny, and you also espouse bullshit that the government feeds you, I have to wonder about that. They do want us divided. And it's not that they want us divided. They want us divided and hating each other. There's nothing wrong with being divided, y'all. There's nothing wrong with it. The guy in Arkansas that wants to have his land with his people and all these white folks, all white folks, no black folks, he turned down the Hodge twins. The Hodge twins asked him if they could go to his land in Arkansas. I'm part white, blah, blah, blah. Can we join you? Those two fucking coons wanted to go live with him on his land. I forgot the white dude's name in Arkansas. I can't be mad at that. He wants to be self-sufficient, mind his own business with his own people on his own land. I can't hate that. I cannot hate that. Just like the families, the black families in Georgia that bought 90 acres of land, the 11 families, and now they're working together. They're building on that land. They're developing that land to form their own community. Nothing wrong with that. I love it. Let that white dude do that, and let black folks do that. You can't hate on it. But the problem comes when you guys, when people, like if the white dude from Arkansas was spitting hatred and vitriol towards other black folks, I haven't seen him do it. He just said, I want some white folks I want us white folks to live together in Arkansas. He didn't say nothing about I hate niggers, and I haven't heard it. He respectfully told the Hodge twins, nah, bruh, you can't bring your black asses on my land and live here. I can't be mad at that. Now, if they start trying to, let's say they buy their land in Arkansas, and then they got 100, 200 acres, whatever they got. And they say, and they see, oh, look, there's 100 miles away, there's a black community forming. Oh, we can't let that happen. Let's go and fuck up the black people's land. That's when we have a problem. Now, if you got a land full of black folks over here, a land full of Native Americans, which not very different, and you got white folks with their land over there, and they mind their own business and leave each other alone, what's the problem with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if the folks in that land, that the white folks decided that they wanted to attack the other people's land, that's when we have a problem. Okay, you stay over there, we stay over here. Don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you. Nothing wrong with that. I don't see a problem with it. Paul Krul says people want to live and let live. I agree 100%. Hyper individuality is a major problem. We have to be willing to serve each other. Yes, on a small scale. Exactly, Hannibal. Like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, there was a black community. Some white girl said some dude, a black dude, was messing with her on the elevator. She fucking lied. And so what did they do? These white folks in the neighborhood outside of Black Wall Street, they attacked Black Wall Street, destroyed it, killed 300 people, injured many others. That's when you have a problem. Well, today is different because we have, everybody has their right to keep their arms. We can all buy our own land. And if you try to come to my land and fuck with us, guess what? We can defend ourselves by any means necessary. We won't let what happened in Tulsa happen now. What I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with people naturally segregating but there does not need to be any hatred. There does not need to be any hatred involved. I would not hang out with Charlie Kirk. Somebody like them, like what? No, I wouldn't hang out with somebody like Charlie Kirk. He has his views of black people. I'm gonna let him have his views. But trying to force me and Charlie Kirk to get along and hang out and all, no, that you also have a problem when you try to do that. Now, Charlie Kirk tries to threaten me or attack me, then we're going to have a problem. No, he can have his views over there in Mesa, Arizona, wherever the hell he lived at. You mind your business in Arizona. You can go all around the world saying whatever you want. Say whatever you want about black folks. Say whatever you want about Native Americans. Say whatever you want. But I'm not going to attack you. There's no need to. No, go, okay. Now, if there are white folks and black folks that want to hang out together, there might be a community where mixed race is all over the place. They just don't care. Maybe they're liberal minded or whatever the case may be. They want to get, hey, you got 50 black folks, 50 white folks. They want to mingle and mix and do it. No problem with that either. But it should be organic and natural. Paul Krul said, you never heard him say anything against blacks? I don't know. You might want to look it up. Unlimited freedom is a bad thing. No, it is not. Unlimited freedom is not a bad thing. It's a dangerous thing, but unlimited freedom is the most natural and organic way any human being should live. Because some people with their freedom are not going to do anything bad. They're going to do all good things for themselves and for the people they love. But then you got people that has 100% freedom. They're going to attack other people because it's human nature. There are going to be people that they're going to want to murder people. They're going to want to grape people. There are sick people out there. But those types of individuals. So, don't worry, guys. My phone overheated, so it shut off. Hope you guys train like I do. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. The people of Israel do not want what the government of Israel wants to do in Palestine. They want their government to negotiate the freeing of the hostages that Hamas is holding and end the war. The government of Israel does not give a shit what their own people want. That should tell you a lot about how governments feel about their people all across the world. Our government is no different. Our government does not care about what we believe about their actions. So, I want to leave us with that. Individual freedom and sovereignty is better than government. Yes, Lewis, that's every government. It's not just about the dollar, y'all. It's about power. The dollar just helps them maintain a level of power that no one else can enjoy. See, the people at the top, the elites, they don't even need money. They don't need money at all. They get all free shit anyway. They use the dollar to wield power across the world. Look at the map from Israel 4,000 years ago. Will I find a 4,000-year-old map that shows Israel? That's the real question. Is there a 4,000-year-old map that has been discovered that shows Israel? That's my question. Israel and Hamas are both at fault. Yes, they're both at fault to varying degrees, and there are points of time at which they both, or one more than the other, could end the shit. Crankbait says this guy has nothing but BS. Thank you for letting everybody know. I agree, Mango Sandwich. Who cares about being black or white? They are both beautiful as humans. Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that care about black and white, and it shapes the way society operates today. That's just the reality. I know that 7 sacraments of health. Hamas has agreed to almost every ceasefire, yes. Well, Sarathia, it wouldn't be called Palestine. It wouldn't be called Palestine. Back in the day. Back in those days, it wouldn't be called Palestine. Anyway. Salute to everybody. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for your conversation. Thank you for the pushback. Thank you for all that, man. It's really all very important. These conversations are important to have. And see, it doesn't have to be any hatred or vitriol behind these conversations. It just has to be about people being willing to listen. Salute to you, Mango Sandwich, no problem. I appreciate that, Mango Sandwich. Anyway, thank you guys for coming through. This is the first time I tuned in and you weren't in your truck. That's funny, Joseph Wilcox. I've actually done lives where I was rucking. I've done lives in different places, but it's okay. Anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe, and guess what, guys? Guess what we gonna do? Keep marching forward toward freedom.